Good afternoon, everybody. And as Alice said, hopefully, if you've been subjected to any of my masterclasses before, they're full of information. I'll try and go through it as slow as possible, but pen and paper at the ready, please. So obviously today we're going to talk as much stuff as I can about SEO. I appreciate from some of the questions before, a lot of businesses are just starting out, while some have been there for a while. So I'm going to try and cover as many bases as possible. Obviously, give you an intro into who I am, why I think you should at least listen to one or two things I say, some of the questions, some of the SEO tools. So if you want to take a screenshot of that when that comes up, I'll let you know. The different types of SEO, the strategies. Today I'm just going to cover 4, so nice and easy bite size, and something to watch out for, something which was launched in the States, which hasn't launched here yet, but if you're in England, watch out for it this year. So who am I? My name's Ian de Cordova. I've had the pleasure of working in digital marketing for 14 plus years. Uh, you know, over that career, I've been doing everything from business development to, of course, everything digital, whether it be SEO, PPC, or social. I do a lot of digital strategy and, of course, sales. I have no problem speaking to random people. I used to do it, walking up to people's doors. I used to be one of those guys who did door to door. In my spare time, I fold people, doing jiu-jitsu, house renovations, which this summer hopefully will see me doing quite a lot, and of course mentoring small businesses on the side. So what did you guys ask? You asked quite a lot about SEO, but these are just some of the 6 that I picked out. Of course, if you guys are, coming to masterclasses quite often, I would always recommend that you drop some questions before you come. Hopefully the people running the masterclasses can answer them within the masterclasses. So again, it helps to at least put some form of strategy to it. And speaking of strategy, that was one of the key questions that a lot of people are asking. I didn't keep on repeating it within the questions, but a lot of people don't know where to start. So hopefully I can give you some kind of insight, best practices, and then what to really focus on, at least in 2024. Another main thing, was how to improve the SEO, especially in a crowded market. But before we jump into that, of course, you know me. If you've ever been coming to my masterclasses, just give me an idea of where you are kind of in your SEO journey. Are you a 1, complete newbie? Are you 2, you understand a little bit, but you want a little bit more knowledge? 3, you've been doing it, but plateaued? Or it's just become a competitive market and you're just so bogged down in the algorithms, you're not sure where to start? Cool. So it looks like there's a wow, 2.5. I love how you just went with a new rating scale there. But okay, so there's quite a lot of 1s. Great. Okay, so hopefully I shouldn't blow your mind too much in this presentation. So what is SEO? Of course, I always think of it as a Tinder, the online Tinder, which is basically a search engine. Most of us will go to Google. Heaven forbid if anybody goes to any of the others, but if you do, the search engine is basically trying to connect the audience with the content on your site. So guess what? If you don't have the content, you're not going to show up. That is it. So the more content you have in and around your, product or service, the better you're going to be in the search rankings. Having a massive impact. 84% of all searches online are discover searches. If I look at Alice right now, she has on a black top. Let's pretend she has no idea where to buy a black top, so she'll just put, I don't know, Alice, medium black top into Google. That's a discover search. So if you're selling black tops which are medium, you better be showing up. 16% are direct searches. So again, hopefully the majority of people on this call will have some form of analytics on their website, whether it be Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics. From there, you're able to get an understanding of how people are finding you. If it's organic, that basically means through a search engine. And of course, direct means someone's typed in your website online. But as you can imagine, the majority of searches nowadays, we just go to Google. That's why Google's, number 1 when it comes to search engines. This is the one where you guys can take a screenshot. Hopefully my face isn't in it, but it's tools to use. There's quite a lot when it comes to SEO. Don't worry, I'll go through some of these within the presentation so you can get an understanding. But SEMrush, WordStream, and Ahrefs, they are programs that you have to pay for. However, they do free tools and free, I think SEMrush, you can get about 7 days out of it for free. So I'd recommend just doing a trial account. It will help build your SEO. Google Keyword Planner also has ChatGPT and WebFX. I'll show you shortly. Impact Hero, that is something which is quite cool nowadays in terms of it's like an AI tool that helps to break down the content between the different journeys. It helps with impactful copy as well. Screaming Frog, it is one where it can help identify issues on your website, especially if you have a WordPress website, 404 errors, 403 errors, i.e. if it's a dead page or a page with an error, that can help show it up along with other bits. Google My Business, if you are a new business, I'd highly recommend you go onto this. I don't care if you're a web-only business. It is vital. Bing has their own version, which is Bing for businesses. Again, you can create the Google My Business and then just log into Bing and it will just import it over so you don't have to create two profiles. Google Search Central and Google Search Console, two amazing bits of kit from Google that, again, you guys should go on. It will help improve your SEO in terms of creating sitemaps, especially the Robux TXT. Appreciate that maybe jargon for you, but there's a lot of YouTube videos that can help put that into a better context. Again, I've touched upon Adobe and Google Analytics, and then another free tool from Google, which is called a Page Insight. It doesn't just give you an understanding of how quick your page is loading, but it can also give you, again, certain bits of issues that Google is finding on your page that you can improve on, which overall improves your SEO ranking. So EAT, this is clearly not coined in the UK because I presume if it was, it'd be called T and not EAT, but let's pretend. It basically stands for authority, trustworthiness, and expertise. So this is how Google is looking at your website. What information are you offering? Is it worthwhile? Is it from an expert? Is it authoritative? Of course, when you have certain things on your website, such as SSL certificates, that helps with our authority. But again, a lot of the backlinks as well. There's a lot of other ways to help with authority, but those are some of the basics. And then again, trustworthiness as well. How many people are coming to your website? One of the algorithms that Google is looking at nowadays is if people are coming to your website and leaving almost instantly, let's call it a bounce rate within 3 seconds, it shows Google that, okay, whatever people are coming to your website for isn't actually relevant. So if they're not going to trust you, why would Google trust you? And of course, in order to establish credibility and relevance, these three have to marry up, hence the term EAT, or if we're in the UK, we'll call it T. So what does this mean? Of course, the better or the higher up your ranking is, the better in terms of clicks. If you're in position 1, 31% more times to get clicks. Of course, if you're in position 5, you're 9.5%. Everybody searches the web differently. Personally, for me, I'll probably open up the first 5 just in different tabs, and depending on which one satisfy my needs, I'll just leave that one open and I'll just close the rest. Some people choose to click on a website and go back to Google and click on another one. For me, that is very long and laborious, but again, everybody's different. Okay, so making sure you guys are as high up the page as possible. Obviously, again, if anybody's gone to Google recently, compared to, let's say, about 2 years ago, Google used to show the various pages at the bottom of the screen, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We always used to joke that page 2 was one of the loneliest places on planet Earth because most people should get all the information from the first page. But now it almost seems Google has adopted a new method where you can just keep on scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. But again, it still remains position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are your top ones. So there's loads of different types of SEO. Don't worry, I'm not going to cover everything today because we'd be here for a while. But some of the main ones are the technical SEO, content SEO, which you guys can control, local SEO, which falls into Google My Business and Bing My Business. There's others as Yelp and Yell as well, but I won't cover those. Image SEO, which is very important. App Store optimization. Again, if anybody has an app on the Google Play Store, sorry, or in Apple, that's also important. Internal linking. Now that can fall into kind of content SEO, but again, internal linking is very important. Mobile SEO. Again, if anybody has Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics on their website, you would hopefully realize that about 70 to 80% of people who view your website come from, are searching on a mobile device. So making sure that is tip top is important. There's some naughty ones, black hat and negative SEO. Again, I won't necessarily teach you how to do it because it is naughty, but the black hat ones, there's various tactics. There's keyword stuffing, there's cloaking, there's link farms. Again, we'll cover keyword stuff in today just to make sure you guys don't do it. And then, of course, there's negative SEO, which involves people hacking other people's websites and removing certain bits of content, which, again, I'm sure no one on this call would do, so I don't need to cover it. But as I mentioned, we'll cover content and technical. Content, most people call it on-page SEO. Some people will also refer to something called off-page SEO. Off-page SEO is backlinks, but we're sticking on page for now. Your meta descriptions. If I was to go to Google and if I was to Google blacktop, because Alice is wearing one, I would expect whichever websites to come up within the content straight underneath whatever website it is to make reference to a blacktop. So that is kind of your meta descriptions. Your page titles, obviously, if I click on that website, the page title better say black tops or, tops for females or something of that sort. The URLs, I don't expect it to just say shop. I expect it to have a lovely URL to it, black organic tops or sustainable organic tops or ethical black tops, something of that nature, where not only is that company, utilizing the term black top, but I may search sustainability or ethical or anything like that. So again, they're picking up on additional keywords. Again, every business is different and you'll all have your USPs when it comes to products or services. Try and make sure you say that as much as possible within the URL. The reason why, Google, the first thing they look at is the URL. So if your URL ticks a box, for blacktop, then you're automatically winning. Navigation bar. I love it when I go to someone's website and it says shop and then blog and then about us. Why are you telling me it's a shop? I already know it's a shop, hence why I've come to your website. Tell me a little bit more about what you do. Really expand your navigation bar. Again, I'll cover that later on. The image alt text is very important. Try and make sure every image that you have has a different alt text and make sure it has specific keywords in it. Again, that'll lead us onto the keywords. What do you want to be ranking for? Have a list of at least 10, 15 keywords that you want to rank for, and then say, okay, throughout my website, I'm going to be mentioning this. Blogging, very important. Again, if you have a blog on your website, can you rename the term blog? Can you call it something else? Can you call it a journal or something else? Because yes, it is a blog, but me as an individual coming to your website could be labeled on how-to guide or relevant news or something else. Dynamic content, again, is big. Not as big as some of the other stuff, but again, what content is Google going to be picking out that you've put on your website? When it comes to the technical side, SSL certificate, that is the padlock at the top of your page. If everybody's on Zoom now, you can probably see within the URL it has a padlock. Unfortunately, my company does not allow me to go to any website without a padlock. So if you do not have an SSL certificate, you may be losing out on individuals. Page speed, page site speed test, again, using that Google free tool. The whole idea, most of us, our attention span, unfortunately, has dwindled over the last few years. So if your website takes more than 3 to 5 seconds, you've already lost some people. Yes, it could be internet issues, but if it genuinely is your website, we need to understand how we can, increase the speed of that. It could be because sometimes your images on your website are too big. So how can you reduce that? Or sometimes the videos as well. Site errors, that Screaming Frog program, I'd highly recommend you guys have a look at it, especially if you have a really big website that can identify some of the errors that are happening that you may not even know about. The robot.txt bit, the sitemap, Google, again, it will look at your URL, it'll look at the content on your page, but also try and find what's called a sitemap. Most websites have, or at least big companies have sitemaps. I appreciate some small businesses don't, but it is a trick to have one because it is something else for the little Google robots or bots to go and find and search. Mobile compatibility, again, touched upon that already. If your website is not mobile compatible, again, I see a lot. Less so nowadays, thank God, because a lot of people are on the likes of Shopify, Wix, and Squarespace. So, automatically they have a responsive site. But if you're on WordPress, please be aware that sometimes the theme that you go for may not necessarily be mobile compatible. And of course, the rich data, the schema data, there's a lot, especially if you're on WordPress, you could use Yoast. There's a whole lot of free platforms out there which can help you to get your schema data up. If you were to go on Google and type something in, let's say a search, how to, I don't know, make biscuits, make cookies, underneath the first website, it could give you step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and all the way up to, let's say, 15. That is kind of schema data. It's a rich snippet, but in essence, it's schema data. So that can help build the SEO rankings. Because again, if you think back to Google or Bing, just wanted to be the matchmaker. They don't want people to necessarily spend hours searching for particular product or service. They want people to get the right information as quick as possible. So if Google identifies your website as someone who is trustworthy and knows what they're talking about, then it'll display it first and it'll display your data. Cool. My bestie, everybody knows this. If you've ever had a mentoring session with me, is ChatGPT. Okay. I'd highly recommend everybody go onto it. If you've never gone onto it, reason why, it's free and it'll save you time. As a small business, you guys are limited, okay? Limited in time. I appreciate you wearing about 50 different hats plus the family hat, dog, kids, whatever it is. So just utilize ChatGPT. A lot of the AI tech out there is purely for like tools. You should never ever be scared of it. So basically, getting the basic ranking. If you're on Shopify, Wix, or on WordPress, which is a Yoast bit at the bottom, we're putting in that metadata. If you go, Ian, I don't know what to put from a metadata, I guess we can help. ChatGPT. Just say, look, ChatGPT, I need to create some metadata for my website, put in your product, you can even say, look, limit it to 320 characters or 155 characters, and it will create it for you. I'm not saying you need to copy and paste it straight away, but you can add your little bit of razzmatazz to it afterwards. Don't just copy and paste it, because you can imagine if you're doing it and then 50 other people are doing it, Google's like, well, everybody's talking about the same thing. It must be spam. So just add your little bit of pizzazz to it, okay? Understanding some of the terms on your website as well, making sure you rank for them. This one is from Kate Walton. She does lovely wallpaper. I'm going to just plug that in there right now if anybody wants to go and have a look. But what we were looking at once upon a time was floral wallpaper. It was something that that was one of our keywords within our site. Appreciate this is our website above, and underneath is the coding for it. So most of us, you can go to someone's website and just look at the basic code that they're using for specific keywords. Right click, inspect element, and you just find keywords. So that's what I've done for Kate, but she wanted to appear for floral keywords. So I said, okay, let's do a basic search. Go into one of the free tools I spoke about before, which is Google Keyword Planner. There's loads out there. I'm just going to use Google for now. We said, okay, if you want to appear for floral wallpaper, what about flower wallpaper? And as you guys can see on the left-hand side, 49,000 versus a 27,000 for floral wallpaper. It's quite evident to see which one we would go for. The reason why is because a lot more people are searching for it. There's loads of other ways to discover what keywords you should be appearing for. Again, one of the main ones is just looking at the average monthly searches. Okay, you can set it to the States, you can set it to England, you can set it to Europe, wherever you want, wherever you're advertising for. Again, highly recommended tool. You can go over to alsoask.com or ask the public, or answering the public, I should say, where you can just put in a keyword and then see what people are talking about when it comes to flower wallpaper. So automatically, I've now got my blogs, I've got my keywords, I've got my blogs, potential metadata, even potential URL titles. Again, understanding how people are using Google to search for flower wallpaper really helped us. I then went over to my friend ChatGPT and I said, look, I need a meta description for flower luxury wallpaper. And then it created one. Now, of course, we have to add our bit of razzmatazz to this to make it, work properly for the website. But it gave us, the foundations to make sure it's readable. If we ever did any blogs about it, would go to WebFX. They've got a readability test. Highly recommend that you guys have a look at it. If using ChatGPT, it will show you some of the downfalls and again, allow you to write better content. Because, at the moment, this was done by MIT. This was a lovely bit of research. ChatGPT helping, to cut down the time 40%. And guess what? 18% high on quality in terms of content. So I'm not saying you're worse than ChatGPT or better than ChatGPT. I'm just saying, look, we're all struggling with time in life, right? Appreciate you may have loads more than me, but ChatGPT is my friend. Make it your friend as well. Use it to help you reduce your time and focus on other bits of the business. It does have limitations, unfortunately, at the moment, especially the free version, which is 3.5. You could pay for 4, but I'm on 3.5. Personal experience, for me, I have 14 years of this and I'm going up against ChatGPT. So I'm a little bit, well, on the downfall because it has a little bit more in terms of wealth of information, but my experience is a little bit better than ChatGPT. I've got my own opinions, got my own advice, and technically overall perspective, while ChatGPT currently doesn't have that. I ask it a lot of questions. I go deep down. I don't just say, write me a meta description. I could say, look, give me 15 relevant, this is for a coffee business, give me 15 relevant topics under the category of coffee, and for each of them, 10 variations, and give me some clickbait variations for Facebook as well, Facebook and Instagram. And it gives you a plethora of different ones. Some of the key ones I've just picked out here. But automatically, as I said, not all of them are going to resonate, and I'm going to have to add my little bit of experience to it. But with that, you can automatically see how you can start creating content. You can start and content for your blogs, that is, but also sections of your website as well, which can help your SEO rankings. Another one, cracking the keywords, as I mentioned before. This is another one, MSA Skincare, a lovely company. Again, just going to plug that in there. Making sure that your keywords are appearing on the site. I mentioned before, if you have it within your navigation at the top, it helps Google understand this is something that you do. Within your title, within your heroes, we can see from the circle above, it appears 35 times. However, if I go into the back end of it and I have a look, it appears 111 times. Now, that's what Google's looking at. Google's looking at your code. Me as a human being is looking on a page before. I can see 35 times, Google sees it 111. So Google goes, okay, this page knows what they're talking about. The company is called MSA Skincare, so automatically you've got a tick for that because it's in the name. Appreciate if it's not in the name, don't worry, but is it in the URL? If it's not in the normal, website URL, could it be in an off shop page? Could it be in a different landing page where you can say, okay, /skincare? Again, that is still a tick box for Google. Is it in the navigation? Is it in the footer navigation as well? So automatically you just going, okay, I'm not stuffing keywords, and this will lead us on to keyword stuffing. I'm not stuffing the keywords. I'm just making sure Google understands correctly. This is what I do. So if a lot of you are limiting yourself by putting the word shop, for example, in your navigation, one of the key things I'd recommend straight after this call is that you build it out. Is it in the JPEG images as well? It should be, because a lot of the time I see people upload images onto their website and it would be, edited face JPEG or a PNG. It doesn't give any reference to what the picture is about. Again, that will lead us back to the alt text. But again, having keywords that you want to be recognized for, because as you can imagine, Google is picking this up from an SEO purpose, from a text perspective. But when it comes to anybody searching in Google Images, again, this alt text data is very key to producing those images. And again, the meta description as well. So you've got the name of the image, the alt text, and the meta description. As I mentioned before, keyword stuffing, very, very naughty. I've been around for a while and I've seen this used across websites. A key way or a way that we did back in the day, I didn't personally do it, of course, was if you had a white website or a lot of white space on your website, a lot of people would put keywords or specific keywords in white text and just put it on the website. So you can imagine Google goes, oh, that's a lot of keywords there. This must be relevant, when in actual fact it wasn't. But a lot of keyword stuffing, people still use it nowadays, where you just offload a whole bunch of keywords into a sentence, which makes no logical sense or grammatical sense. So therefore, Google will penalize you for that. So again, you can have a long-winded blog, no problem, but just make sure you use any keywords in particular sentences, answering particular questions, please. Feeding algorithm brings us on to another one of my favorites, YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, I highly recommend it. I'm not saying you need to fully manage your page just yet, but depending on your product, depending on your service, a lot of people tend to go to YouTube nowadays for advice and to see how durable a product is, or if it's a service, how trustworthy it is. But as you can imagine, YouTube is number 2 in terms of largest search engine. Again, owned by Google nowadays. So you've got Google number 1, YouTube number 2, and I'm sure Bing is not too far down the list. But I always say focus on YouTube. We're in a world now where a lot of people are on TikTok, Instagram Reels, Instagram Stories. So video is key. There's a lot of people using it at the moment. As you can see, 2.5 billion. Personally, I have a TV that is just purely linked to YouTube. I don't actually have TV channels, very weirdly enough, because my entertainment, my source of information, all comes from YouTube. You know, and there's more and more people like that. So when it comes to YouTube itself, as I mentioned, people go to it for entertainment, for educational, for information, for community and creatives. So utilize it. You know, it could just be with an explainer video. I said to Kate, you do wallpapers, Kate Walton wallpapers. You know, if someone doesn't know how to hang a wallpaper, if you stick something up on YouTube and then link it back to your website, automatically you're winning. So not only can you see it on YouTube, but you can also see it on your website. And that leads us into this one, snowwindows.com. When it comes to learning how to do snow spray, I'd highly recommend you guys have a look at this. Come Christmas or Halloween, it's a different way of jazzing up your house. Again, another one that I'm just going to plug. But learning how to snow spray, it's something different. If they've put a video up on YouTube, not only can I find it on YouTube, but the first image I can find it on Google, and then they can create a blog on their website and say learning how to snow spray, which again 2x times the reach. So if any of you have any products or services that you think, okay, this would be good on YouTube, not everyone will, but the majority will, get on YouTube. You don't necessarily need a YouTube account with a face on it. It could just be faceless. And please understand that in some weird stat, you can look this up as well. 70% of people who watch videos online watch it without sound. So you don't even have to worry about what your voice sounds like. Okay, you can just use closed caption. Main reason why is, even if you look at this presentation as I speak, some of the words up on screen, you guys have just gone, okay, I'm not going to listen to Ian and just read the words. It's because our brain processes words quicker than it processes sound. So you can just have a YouTube account. Yes, you can have a little bit of voice in there, a little bit of music, but the whole idea is you have video content on there showcasing your product or service. Last one, speaking up, of course, it's just a crime sometimes to watch the youth use their phones and search on Google or any form of search engine. They just speak to it. Some of you have probably been inundated with voice notes on WhatsApp as well, because most of us now would just use our voices to do quite a lot. 50% of searches, more or less, are voice. So, that comes with your mobile phones, or even, the home devices that we have, the Alexas, the Google Home, so forth. So making sure that you guys are ranking on those is very important. Some of the key ways to rank on there: FAQs. I always say to individuals, when you're creating your websites, you know what you're talking about, the product or service that you offer. I don't. Sometimes I'm coming and I have no idea why I need your product or service or what the next stage is. So you go, okay, cool, let me put an FAQ out there. It could be the most basic FAQ. Again, going back to, the snow windows, how to create a snowman with snow spray, or even wallpapers, how to hang a wallpaper. A lot of people don't know that. Every day a new business is formed, and every day a new person doesn't understand what they think they should understand. So a lot of us just go to YouTube and FAQs. So guess what? On your website, create FAQs. It's very key, especially for voice searches. Reviews as well. If I'm in Manchester, let's say, for example, I'm going to go out for breakfast, I go, hey, Google, show me a place which is good for breakfast. And then Google's going to recommend somewhere. The only way Google knows is, on the website, and if people are reviewing about it. So this was another reason why I said you guys should get Google My Business. Bing places for business as well is key. Unfortunately, my car comes with voice activation. I can't seem to do anything in that car without speaking to it, which is incredibly frustrating. But, it's utilizing Google. So I have no option. If I want to go somewhere, Google is the one which is helping me get there. So the more reviews you have, you can always ask your friends, your family. I'm not saying I need to give you fake reviews, because again, that's naughty. But, they understand your business. If they've bought from you, or if you've given them a discounted product or service, just say, look, can you just drop me a review? If you guys have, sold products and not sent out a review link to somebody, then just do it. I don't care if it's been 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. You just go, look, how was the product? We're interested to learn. Can you just drop us a link on Google? You have Trustpilot, you have FIFA. There's so many different review ones. I'd always recommend you use Google. You can always, depending on the website that you use, you can always link your Google reviews into your website as well. And I always say Google. Main reason why is because, as you can see, SEO is pretty heavy because of Google when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to Google search. And then one of the things that we're going to look at in a minute, Google is king. So making sure all your reviews are on Google, I would highly recommend it. Cool. Something to look out for after those 4 strategies is search generative experience. The lovely guys in the States have it. We have yet to get it. A lot of speculation on when that's going to come out in the UK. Some people say mid this year. It was supposed to be the end of last year, and then it got moved to February, and then we're just waiting basically. But if anybody's ever seen structured snippets before, this is, well, we're going to see if it's going to take the place of it, because at the moment they're still both available. But highly recommend you guys have a look at it. Again, it's very similar to structured snippets, so you don't necessarily have to do anything different. It's just making sure your website has a lot of relevant information. So this is it, CGE for short. It's basically on top right there. If I ask it a question, the generative AI is just going to give me what it thinks I'm looking for. It will credit your website if your website is listed, as you can see there from the 3. What it'll do is basically combine all 3 bits of data and provide you with a lovely short paragraph. Very similar to ChatGPT in a way, except ChatGPT doesn't reference sites. Google's going to reference sites. For structured snippets, previously it was this bit. Featured snippets, underneath it was this bit where I said, again, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on, if I wanted to make biscuits or whatever it is. But that is coming to the UK, something to look out for, which is great. I love it. Last but not least, for those who know me, I'll always harp on about it. Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, Google Analytics is free at the moment. They're going through a little bit of a court case in Europe because some people in Europe don't believe it follows GDPR rules 100%. But in the UK, we're fine at the moment. But then you've got Adobe Analytics. But the main point of these guys are, if someone's coming to your website, you need to understand A, how they've got there, B, what they're doing on your website. You can imagine if you owned a physical shop, some of you may, if you own a physical shop and you just grab somebody off the street and say, look, you need to go check out that shop, and they walk in, what are they doing in that shop? They literally get to the front door and go, well, this is not for me, and walk away. Or, are they in the shop? Are they going left? Are they going right? How long they're in the shop? What they're picking up? X, Y, Z. Google Analytics allows you to do that. Same with Adobe Analytics. But you need some form of software on your website which can help give you an understanding of how people are using your website. That way you can change the layout of the website, and again, focus on specific keywords as well. So in summary, SEO trends change, like the new AI bit. I always say, thank God for that. A lot of people don't like it, but for me, look, it keeps me in a job. If it was the same as it was like 10 years ago, I think I'd have been bored and left by now. But the fact that it always changes gives you that opportunity to always grow. Okay. Every day a new small business is created. Well, to be honest, a new business is created. So there's always something new for you to jump on and try and get ahead of the competitive ladder. Ensure you guys are using ChatGPT as much as you can. Focusing on EAT/T, that is important. Understanding how your audience search for your website. Again, the keywords, that is very important. Shout about your USPs within those keywords as well. What makes you special? USP, unique selling point. Embrace the visual and voice search. Again, going back to the imagery, ensuring that you have the alt text in all the images. If you have multiple images of a particular product, again, don't just go, I don't know, ring 1, ring 2, ring 3, spice it up a little bit, sustainable rings, and then you can go silver sustainable rings, or men's silver rings, female silver rings, so forth. Even if it's the same product, you're giving different words to it. That way it can rank online. USPs, again, highlighting your unique selling points. Data is your friend. Adobe, Google Analytics, understanding how people use your website is important. Enhance your local SEO, which is the Google bit, or the Bing for business. And user experience. Again, making sure you guys don't have the word shop at the top is one of the first ones, but the layout of your website. If you're not sure how to do a layout of your website, just open up like 5 of your competitors, see how they've laid out their website. Which one makes you feel particularly different to the other? Hopefully they all will give you some form of feeling, but which one really resonates with you? You know, a lot of businesses nowadays just kind of go, okay, well, this is my shop, and then, you know, here's my product and here's a blog. It's like, well, me as an audience, you know, I've come to you, sell me the product. A lot of you do not have that salesperson on the website, so your website is the salesperson. So if I land on your website, again, hero image, do you need to have a slide-in carousel at the top? Personally, I don't think so, but some businesses do. You know, the next bit, tell me a little bit who you are, show me the USPs, why people buy from you, give me some form of inkling of all the reviews that you have. So I go, okay, well, you know, I didn't know who you were. You've told me who you are. This is the products that you sell. I can see that people trust you. So now that those are some of the tick boxes automatically done in my mind. And then, okay, let me try and find a product that I want from your website. So that is a little bit, whoops, that is a little bit about SEO. There's a lot to cover. I don't want to overwhelm people too much. So this is why I haven't gone too far into some of them, because I appreciate some of my previous ones have a little bit a little bit full on. I've tried to calm it down a little bit. As you can see, Alice is laughing. But look, Digital Boost, I'll plug Digital Boost because there's loads of us on there. A lot of people know different elements of SEO, so you guys need to use them. If you're not on the Digital Boost platform, it's a platform where you get free volunteering from God knows how many different people. I think, you know, with BT alone, we have about 400 people. So there's quite a lot of people on there. Everything that you guys need to know, digital strategy, finance, you know, you name it, and it's unlimited. You get unlimited sessions. That's my LinkedIn. If you guys want, that's my Digital Boost bit. You know, just message. You can see if we can get into a one-to-one. If you don't get me and you get somebody else, you know, and you want some more information, you know, just try and reach out, find me. But hopefully, you get as much knowledge from as you did from me as you'd get from anybody else. Cool. And that's it, guys. Hopefully that was good.
That was very good, thank you. And Rob's just made me laugh. Rob said, thanks, Ian, very insightful overview of the key things to focus on. Now I want a cup of tea. I think we'll all be running off to grab a cup of tea after this session. Lots and lots of thank yous there in the chat. So a very, very successful masterclass. Thank you, Ian. We do have a couple of minutes for questions. So I'm going to go to the Q&A box first. I know some of you have popped questions in the chat, so I'll do Q&A box first, and then I'll do my best to get back through the chat box. Chat box? Yes, chat box. So Michael is kicking us off. Hopefully you understand this more than me, Ian, because you know I'm not technical at all. Michael has said, doesn't semantic HTML that validates to W3C standards set the foundation for measurable, effective SEO?
It does. There's quite a lot of different elements of that. That is a serious WordPress type question, because Shopify, Wix, and Squarespace kind of do that in their own background. But you can use different validators as well to help. But basically, from a schema perspective, is one, page speed is another. That's why we kind of touched upon it. There's a lot of different elements to this. But it is key to ensuring that you get up the SEO ranks. There's a validator out there at the moment. Ooh, I'm gonna have to try and remember this. Old age is gonna get me. But there's a there's a validator out there that can really help. Screaming Frog is one, which can help identify errors. Ooh, I'm gonna have to think about this one, because I did see it in the chat as well. Okay, it's moving too fast. But there's a validator out there where you can plug your website in, and it'll give you a score. It'll try and help you identify exactly what you need to improve on. But I'll try and find that. So yeah.
I think Michael's just reshared it again there for anybody.
Validator, yeah, w3.org. There we go.
Perfect. Wonderful, thank you. We have another question which I really like. This one's from Jody. So Jody has said, I heard ChatGPT wasn't good for SEO. Is that just a myth? Now I know we've touched on this a little bit, Ian, but just to put anyone's mind at ease about ChatGPT, is it okay to use for SEO, or is it going to completely tank your results?
It depends, because of course a lot of people just put stuff into ChatGPT and go, you know what, I'm going to copy and paste it straight into my website. Eventually Google's going to find out. But if you add your own personal experience to it, change some of the words which really reflect how you feel or your knowledge, then that will help. Of course, you have WebFX, which will help with readability as well. So again, you can understand exactly what's going to be working if you do put it on your website versus what's going to have a poor score. So it's not necessarily just go, okay, ChatGPT, I'm just going to go with whatever you say. There's going to be elements where you're going to have to change it. And unfortunately, ChatGPT is very American, so you might have to change it into some British wording as well. But I'm not saying take 100% of what it offers you, take elements of it. It's amazing for foundations and a little bit of intermediate, but your experience will just make it more advanced than what ChatGPT can offer.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Phil has asked, can you recommend any tools for finding alternative semantic keywords to include in your content along with your main keywords?
Araf, SEMrush, WordStream, those are some really good ones. Answer the public as well, that can give you some additional keywords. There's quite a few free tools out there that you can use, but those are the key ones. With SEMrush, you get 7 days free trial out of it. You do have to put in your credit card, but I would say put your credit card in and a calendar reminder for the night before, so you can just cancel it. But just milk it for as much as you want within those 7 days. ARAF as well, which is AHREF. That is another amazing one, which gives you loads of free tools. It give you ranking tools as well. So depending on what keywords you want to appear for, you can see whatever those keywords are. Let's say, I don't know, home valuation. You can put that in. You can put your website in, and you can see exactly how you're ranking, at least in the top 100 within. If you want to do it within the UK, you can say, I want to see how I'm ranking within the UK. And what's best about it, it can show you what your competitors are doing as well, how many keywords they have on their website, and potentially how much traffic they have coming to the website as well.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. I will make a note of all of these programs and I will send them out in the replay as well, because there's some really fantastic tools. Maybe we can even do a blog post with all of these tools. Anastasia says, is there a benchmark for the results that we get on page speed insights? I'm struggling with my site performance percentage, which is quite low compared to the other ones. And then they've said, great presentation. Thank you.
Thanks. Is there a benchmark? Is it, if you're using Google page speed test, is it green or is it yellow? Because if it's yellow, then we need to get it to green. Amazing tool because it's free. It will give you some ideas of how to improve it. So I'd love to have a deeper conversation so we can analyze and say, okay, well, this is what you need to improve on. There's other page speed tools out there. Again, Araf does one, and so does SEMrush. I don't know why I'm plugging those two, but those two, again, can offer you some kind of insight into your website. Again, you have to pay for them. That's why we're using the Google one.
Love that. Thank you. Angela's got two questions, so we'll kick off with Angela has asked, is Google Keywords free to use?
It is. You will have to set up an account, but you can, once you set up an account, you can go and you can say to the keyword planner, you can say, look, I want to appear for, we'll go with Kate's floral wallpaper. I want to appear for floral wallpaper. Is there anything else that I should appear for? And it can give you a list of like 100, 1,000 keywords of other keywords which are relevant to that. And then it can give you, the average monthly searches. It can, if you want to go on PPC, which is pay per click version of Google, can give you the cost per click of what it thinks the cost per click is going to be. It can give you quite a lot of free information. So at the moment, yes, it is free.
Wonderful. And then they've got a follow-up question, which is probably quite a nice way to kind of round up the whole presentation, actually, which is with kind of your business being on Google, and if it is quite new, do you have 3 tips that a new business can do when they're trying to rank on Google?
I guess that goes strategy 1, 2, and 3. Strategy 1, which is making sure that your keywords are, you find the unique keywords that you want to appear for. I appreciate, a lot of businesses out there go, look, it's very competitive in my market. Long tail keywords are still a thing. We can still appear for long tail keywords as much as we want, making sure that they're relevant. Whoops. making sure that they're relevant to your website, making sure you build your website in a, when I mean the right way, as in, again, start from the basic. When you want to upload a picture onto your website, making sure the picture before you upload it on your website is saved on your computer with your specific keywords that you want to appear for. So when you upload it online onto your website, you can add in your alt text, you can add in your description underneath, so automatically you're ranking it better. When it comes to creating the URLs, don't just do /shop, really break it down. If you guys go onto Google and just type in Alice, forgive me here, black top, female black top, look at the websites which are appearing at the top. If you click on them, how many times do they mention the word black top? Is it in the URL? It's in the images. It's in so many parts of it. There's ways that you guys can, I don't want to use the word cheat, but expand your web pages depending on the web page. And what I mean by that is, if it is a female black top that you're after, the landing page should be a page with a female black top. Do not then just go straight underneath similar items. Break it down a little bit for me. Why should I buy this female black top? Have that as a section. What are the 3 reasons why you should buy this female black top? Give me some reviews of the female black top. Reviews matter. Or, review our female black top. Talk about the organic cotton or whatever it's from to make this female black top. Guess what? Automatically, we've just gone from having it just at the top to having a page full of it, of why the importance of this black top. So if I was to search female black top into Google, Google goes, wow, a URL, and this whole page is talking about it. There's even a video of somebody wearing it, walking around a catwalk, let's just say. Boom. Why would anybody want anything else apart from this website?
That's great, thank you. It's a really good tip, actually. Ravish has said, can we get the recording? Yes, you will be receiving a copy of the recording. I will personally email it out to you this afternoon and make sure that you have it so you can go back over everything we've talked about today. And I'll also include any relevant links and mentoring links and things like that for you guys. We've got an anonymous attendee who's asked a question there, and it's more about websites. So what I would say is they're asking which platform is best to build a website on. We actually did a masterclass on this last week, and I would definitely encourage you to book a one-to-one with a mentor, purely because it comes down so much to your business and your personal goals and the types of business you're running. So I would definitely encourage you to book a one-to-one about that. Another anonymous attendee has said, do you recommend any useful Chrome extensions for monitoring website changes, Ian?
To be honest, the majority, hopefully you can still see my screen now with the tools. Has it gone to that page? Oh.
No, I do think we've got a screen on, actually. I think it's just
Okay,
me right now.
apologies. Oh, okay. So a lot of these have their own tools, extensions. So Google Analytics is a big one. You have the Google Legacy one as well, which can help to understand if you're, say, Google Analytics, or what it helps to understand what is working on your website and what isn't working. You've got the ChatGPT one, you've got the ARAF one as well. You've got quite a lot of different extensions out there to use. But my main one is Google Analytics, because for me, unfortunately, I'm one of those unique characters that likes living in Excel. So if I see something go down, it's almost like the stock market's crashing. I need to understand why. So for me, I go, okay, well, let me go into analytics and understand organically, why is no one coming to my website? Why is everybody coming direct or through pay-per-click? What is it that I'm not ranking on correctly? I go into the keywords and I go, okay, well, over the last month or so, why is this keyword not performing as well as it used to? And that could be A, switching the algorithm, or B, there's more competition in it. Every day, or every week, I should say, there's some form of switch with the algorithms, which I say is great because it keeps me in business, keeps me on my toes. But it's just making sure we're always on top of it.
Yeah, love that. And somebody asked before about the list of tools. So if you guys want to take a quick screenshot of this slide for you to come back to, like I say, there will be a recording, but if you want to take a quick screenshot, you can do so now. I'm gonna, Phil, you've asked 2 questions in the chat box there specifically about the validator and not working with your site. and about schema data as well. So what I would say, Phil, is definitely book a one-to-one with us. That's something that we would want to look at with you in more depth and really dive deep. So please do book a one-to-one. John in the chat, I think this is quite an interesting point to pick up, and it's around the changes that are coming. So John has asked, will the forthcoming change to third-party cookies by Google in the second half of this year have an impact on SEO or change the relevance of SEO in any way, do you think, Ian?
It'll probably have an impact, but the level of impact, again, we never know, because Google forever changes its algorithm, and I had the pleasure of working in an agency once where Google changed algorithm and everything dropped from the first page almost instantly. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but sometimes you never really know what the policy changes are. And of course, it's always, one should be aware that Google is having an issue at the moment with the cookie policies, hence why they're being sued. I believe they were sued by the Swedish government. France is trying to take them to court as well because of the cookie issues and the whole GDPR. So it's going to be interesting to see what they are changing and how that's going to affect everybody.
Definitely, and maybe we can do, well, look, we always have sessions like this going on. We always have one-to-ones going on in the background. So if any of those changes do come into effect and you panic and you need help at the end of this year, we will be there to support you. And we have amazing experts like Ian, who you can tell keep on top of things and they know all the ins and outs of what's going on. So we will be able to support you through it as best we can. Cerny or Kearney, I'm sorry if I pronounced that completely wrong. They have a quick question, which is they have a new site and Google is dragging its heels responding to a lot of SEO components. Do you have any insights on how long to wait before looking inwards for problems?
Wow, depends. SEO is the longest game, I think, in the digital world. It could take 6 months, a year to get ranking for particular terms. So automatically, I'm not going to wait 6 months to a year. I always just go, okay, what's Google doing? What can I do? And then just hopefully marry them up together, and within that 6 months, grow as quick as I can. So personally, I would just say, look internally, from the get-go. What can you see? What can you do? Again, I've seen it in the chat when I can see some of the questions about the tools. Look, SEMrush is free to use if you're on a trial for 7 days. It is then very expensive thereafter. Ahref is cheaper. It has free tools that you can use beforehand. So I'd advise have a look at those, which are the ones on the far left column. But again, you can pay for them. Even if you want to pay for them for a month and just get a better foundation for your website, then you can go, okay, let me come off of it and then come back in a year's time or 6 months' time and then go from there. Because again, I appreciate a lot of small businesses have a lot of different things, a lot of different hats to wear. So your main priority will probably not be, let me focus on SEO. But what I'm saying is build a foundation, because if you had a physical store, you'd create the store in such a way that would last you a few months before you have to shuffle it around. It's the same with your website. Make the foundations good. And then, on page SEO, which is a content bit, which is stuff like blogging and keywords, just update them now and again. That will always help.
Fantastic. And we've got one more question to wrap up the webinar, and then there's two about digital boosts, which I will pick up. But let's end with Joanna's SEO question. Well, actually, it's more specific to a tip you gave, Ian. Joanna has said, just to confirm, did you say it was best to avoid having a shop tab and instead display your products for sale in more creative ways, or have I misunderstood?
Correct. Display as much as you can. Again, analogy of a shop. If you went to Zara, M&S, not sure where you shop, let's say John Lewis, if you walk into John Lewis, you already know it's a shop. So therefore, the key when you walk into the shop is them telling you what products are on different floors. That is what Google is looking for. What products do you have? Where are they located? What are the pages thereafter? Me as a potential customer will come to the website as well and go, okay, for a frictionless journey or less friction, I come to your website in the navigation bar. Let's say I'm after face cream, MSA, skincare. I can see straight away when I come to the website, okay, they do face cream. I don't need to go to shop, or I don't need to try and find it on the website. It's boom, it's there. I'm clicking on it. That is me just going straight to that web page. So I'd always say try and avoid shop and just have it broken up at the top. Depending on your website, some of you may go, oh my God, like how am I going to fit everything in the top? Again, use a high street analogy. If you go into John Lewis or any of these stores, do people really care about you? Like Do you need the About Us at the top? Do you need the blog at the top? Do you need the free ebook at the top? I mean, if it's part of your KPIs, then yes. But do you need it at the top? My main focus, if I'm a shop, is to tell you what I'm selling. If you offer a service, guess what? These are the services that I'm offering. You don't need to have it hidden away and then put everything else at the top. Have a lot of that in your footer if you're going to have it, or just have it throughout the page as well. But just don't have everything in the top. What's your main focus? Put it in the front navigation or the top navigation.
Wonderful, thank you. That's really helpful to end on. And just, I know we're at time and I know we need to go, but just to say, Kausa, or I'm so sorry if I've mispronounced that again. But all of our mentoring sessions are free, all of our masterclasses are free, all of our in-person events are free, our blog is free, our resource center is free, everything we do is free. So please don't worry about going ahead and booking sessions. We cannot take your payment details. We do not want to take your payment details. It's all free. So it's for your peace of mind. Everything is free. And finally, somebody asked in the chat box about how to access previous sessions, previous masterclasses. If you've registered for masterclasses, they are on your replay tab on your Digital Boost dashboard. And I always pop our most popular masterclasses on our resource center, which is also on the dashboard. I am working through our catalog because we have so many amazing masterclasses, so bear with me. But all of the BT masterclasses also live forever on the resource center. So you can go and find Ian's past masterclasses, Henry's masterclasses, Henry from the BT team. Nishant did one with us last week. His went up there as well, all about how to build a strong brand. So there's some fantastic masterclasses on the resource center. I will be linking it in the replay for you guys. And I will also send out all of the tools that Ian mentioned and also a link to book a one-to-one so you can carry on your SEO journey. But wonderful feedback in the chat as always. We expect nothing less from one of Ian's sessions because he is one of our most popular masterclass hosts. I know you guys love him, so thank you all for being here. And Ian, thank you for returning once again. Do you want to say anything before we close out?
Just thanks, guys. Look, take advantage of Digital Boost. Take advantage of us. You know, we're here to help the business grow, or your business to grow.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Replay will be in your inbox this afternoon. And if you need anything, just send us an email and we'll be happy to help. But have a wonderful afternoon and we will see you on another masterclass very soon. Bye, everyone.